Happy birthday, Doug! From a random collection of strangers on the streets of Kelowna.
Happy birthday, Doug.
Happy birthday, Doug.
Happy birthday, Doug.
Happy birthday, Doug. Happy birthday, Doug. Happy birthday, Doug. Happy birthday, Doug.
Happy birthday,
Who's
Doug.
Doug?
It's actually my...
Intros in 5, 4, 3, 2.
What you doing, Lisa?
Happy birthday, Doug.
You can finish chewing. What are you eating?
I got you some Timbits.
You got me some Oh, that's so sweet. It's my birthday today, and Lisa, being the good friend and coach, she's got me a 10 box of Timbit. Shame, you guys. Oh. Well, happy birthday. Thank you for the thought. That's very lovely.
There's more.
Oh, and cookies too. That's nice. I'm not going to eat on camera.
It matches your shirt.
Yeah, red velvet. I'm wearing my red velvet. Oh, that's sweet. Okay, talk for a second.
Just put those close to where I can.
I'll put these over here. Where
Just put them in my purse.
I won't get any of those, will I?
No. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday. How you doing?
Good. Speaking of birthdays, Doug,
Yes?
how old are you today?
I'm 54 today.
54.
54.
I got a question for you. 54 years old.
Yep.
Your body is growing weary and your joints are stiffening.
Mostly this one.
You're not as agile as you once were when you were closer to my age.
When I was closer to your age, yes.
Is there anything that you wish you would have done 20 years ago that you didn't do?
20 years ago? I wish I would have started playing guitar sooner.
Me too.
Some of that kind of stuff. And
I'm
it's
gonna just do everything that you say.
Okay, and I've always wanted to go whitewater rafting. I've actually made whitewater rafting videos, and I've only been in the raft long enough to get the shots, but I've never actually gone whitewater rafting.
Okay.
That'd be cool. I'd like to.
There's some great places close to.
Yeah, I know. Spectacular
But you can
videos.
still do that.
I can still do that.
That's not. It's not like you keep.
I haven't aged out of that yet. I don't know.
Like I'm thinking things like the Olympics, things that are more or NHL or something that you.
Yeah, I never really had a goal to be.
You're not very.
Never really thought I was going to be a sports star. It was more. I wish I would have maybe written a novel or something, but by now I thought I would have had a novel finished by now.
You can still do that.
Well, I know I can still do it, but I should be on my third or fourth.
You gotta apply yourself, Doug.
I know. I don't know what I'm just wasting my time doing.
Well, our first guest is what we're talking about is she's been a poet
Right.
for over 80 years.
When a heart is young, it runs the earth with the rabbit and the steer. It roams the woodland valleys to feel the freedom near. I'm Teri Baker, creator of Teri Tales. This is the one original old manuscript.
It's very funny about the manuscript. Mum's been carrying that thing around for so many years. I mean, she's 85.
I did. I carried it everywhere with me, and that used to be a joke actually, because even if I went visiting, I would take it with me.
It was literally done on onion paper. They call it onion paper with the old-fashioned, typewriter that you got your fingers stuck in.
My children have grown up with these stories that I wrote basically for them.
She would literally go to parties and bring the manuscript, and people would say, "Oh, come on, Teri, read us a story." And that's when I came up with Teri Tales, because she always used to tell tales to everyone.
If anyone sees my Teddy, please send him home to me. I really would be grateful and as happy as can be. Did you like that? You like that story? Yeah?
She's such a talented woman and has all these wonderful stories that still need to get out into the public.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
And when she came out the hospital, I was so relieved. Obviously, anyone would be. And I wanted to motivate her.
In the process of going through and everything, my daughter made this promise.
If she survived cancer, I would get her books published for her.
I suppose that was the inspiration that she gave me to pull through. And so now I've reached the age that I have, and I think that I want to see it done as a legacy.
I don't know where I would be without my mum, but I promised her that I would publish this book for her, and I will. As much as it's a legacy for her, it's a legacy for, you know, all children to have this kind of sentiment, this kind of writing in their homes.
Nothing is too hard to try, on land or sea or air. When a heart is young and happy and does not have a care.
If you don't have it in your home, I'm going to make sure you get it in your home.
Never too old to make it happen, and she's finally going to be pushing to get her stuff published.
That's right. I mean, it's pretty amazing, you know, like her story that, you know, she's been through, you know, like cancer scare and all that kind of stuff. And what was it? Her daughter said that if she could beat cancer, then she could publish a book. And
she didn't just beat cancer. She's got a hilarious personality. Like, she is a firecracker, Scorpio.
Whatever that means.
I don't know.
So, and you had a chance to sit down with her, and
I did.
We're going to get a...
And she believes in not fairy tales.
Teri Tales.
Teri Tales. All right, we're here with Teri Baker, or as she likes to be called, the Universal Nan. Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to me, yes.
So, Nan, first of all, tell everybody how old you are.
I will be 87 next month, 5th of November.
And you don't look a day over 35.
I know.
All right, so Nan, tell me what got you involved in poetry.
I didn't actually get involved. It involved me. It just comes into my head. But very young I started. As soon as I could put pen to paper, I would be scribbling little lines that came into my mind, and things inspired me. You know, nature and things and funny things, and I just jotted them down. As I grew older and to teens, I would write things and give them to people, you know, birthdays.
And you still do that with birthdays?
I still do, yeah, and events, yes, I still do. So it's something that's really followed me. And then, of course, when I got married and had children, and I saw that there was, instead of saying don't do this and don't do that, I kind of put little stories together that involved them. Yes, it's like, you know, and of course I've got them ready for when they went to school, what other children would do, you know, push them or bully them or something. So I put it into characters, and that way they would be prepared and know how to handle it. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that I started with going through the years. And then, obviously, all through the years, I've wrote stories for children and teenagers and all kind. And it's just something that's escalated, you know. But
well, in your imagination, I had the pleasure of spending a month with Nan. My son and I actually went and stayed with her while we were working on some stuff with her. And one of the things that I loved, Nan, was the relationship you have with the neighborhood crows. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Oh, yes, yes. When I first moved there, one big black crow came and sat himself on the deck there. And I immediately named him Russell Crowe, you know. And I've been there 3 years, and I've seen him bring his wife, who I call Sweetie, and all the other ones, I can't keep up with them, the family. And regularly every day, I just get little tidbits and put them out there. People say you shouldn't feed the crows, but when it's been very cold and the water there was no fresh water, I put fresh water out, but we have, you know, a wonderful relationship. And they just wait for me until I do that.
And they're smart.
They're very, very, very clever. If they don't like something I put out to eat, they bring it up and put it back on the fence and tell me no, they don't like cranberries or the cereal. And in a nice way, like a little egg, he puts it on the fence as if to say, that's it, I don't like that anymore. Yeah, so I do have lots of fun with those, you know.
So nature's your friend. Well, it's also funny because last time my husband and I went down to Vancouver, we stopped in to see Nan, and she said, you got to come outside and see the bees that we have here, the bees.
I called them worker bees.
They were not worker bees. My husband goes, those are wasps.
No, he said they were leather jackets, but I've since found out that they were yellow jackets.
Yeah.
They are carnivorous. Yeah, but I used to save chicken for them, and I've never seen anything like it, the way they just get a piece of chicken and push it into their mouth with their tail, and off they go to build up a nest or whatever it is they do for the winter, I suppose. But I called him Andre, the first one that ever came round to me. I was sitting on the deck having my dinner, and chicken was on there, and he started attacking it on my plate. And I just tore a piece off and I said, no, that's yours, this is mine, and that's it. And he just busily ate that piece of chicken, flew off with it. That's our first encounter.
Usually when someone steals your food, that's something you want to get rid of it, not encourage it.
Obviously, he felt quite comfortable in joining me for dinner. So, you know, it was, again, everybody thinks I'm nuts when I do that, but I kind of feel that they like me, you know.
Well, it feeds into the imagination too. And so, are you not feeding those wasps anymore?
Oh well, it comes a certain time of the year, and then I don't see them until the next year, till the sun shines. I think they hibernate somewhere.
Well, if there is a wasp problem north of Vancouver, you can thank Nan for that.
Well,
she's helping them breed.
I read up, or someone gave me a whole thing about the yellow jackets. And they are carnivorous.
And they're hateful creatures.
No, they're not. They're they're peaceful creatures.
They're peaceful?
They're peaceful creatures. They absolutely are. It's the leather jackets that are not nice. It's the yellow jackets that are good. But I knew they belonged to the bee family, so you know what? I thought worker bees.
So nature and bees and crows and things are all part of your imagination, and it goes into your poetry.
Yes.
Where did you get your amazing imagination from, Nan?
Well, I think it was a gift. I really think it's a gift because I learned very, very much at school about poetry. They give you lines of things, you know, like the Pied Piper of Hamelin. So I really didn't, I knew the poets, who they were, the books, because I made a point of getting them as I grew older. I was a child that kind of wandered around, quite happy.
A little bit cheeky?
Pardon?
You're a little bit cheeky?
I was very adventurous. And I think now what I did, and the children of today couldn't do that, you know, as like the movie theatre. My grandma did just say once, like, you know, when you go, because she thinks I'm going to see the cartoons, you sit by yourself. You know, it's very dangerous if you sit next to somebody else. And I gradually, I thought myself, well, you know, I see somebody there, I'll move up. But I was so little, I used to put the seat up and sit upright, right on it, so like that. And I used to ask somebody, like a couple, would you take me in? And you give them the money, and they take you in, and then they go their way, and I go my way. And that's what I used to do.
How old were you?
I was supposed to be about 8 or 9, something like that.
So sneaking in with couples to the movie theater. What kind of movies were you sneaking into, Nan?
Well, there was one that I should not have gone to see, but I've looked at it lately and there's really nothing. And it was...
Compared to today's standards.
Absolutely, yeah. It was the big earthquake of San Francisco, right? And right in the exciting bit, you know, when everything was really going as it was, the light was flashing on me. You know, and I got down and I had to walk. You know, they have a pathway that goes to the back to the entrance and it slopes. Mm-hmm. So I'm walking backwards still. I was walking backwards so I could still see the end of that movie till I got pushed out the doors.
You got kicked out as a kid.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't there because it was. They don't have, but they had a movie that was labelled you could not go in there.
And you just...
that's the one I did, yeah, badly.
Nobody was the boss of you?
I always thought that I was, but I was good. I did as I was told to a point, you know.
Speaking of your childhood, because, I mean, it was before, like, give us perspective on, now we've got all this technology, we've got cameras, we've got all these things around us, we've got our iPhones and all this technology.
Yeah.
What was it like for you as a little kid? What did you have access to?
Well, my grandma used to mangle the machine, and I used to pull the sheets through at the other end. That's one, right, And she was a tailoress by trade. I used to thread her needles and pick up the threads and get her buttons in order.
TV, internet, phone?
No, there was no TV. They used to put the radio on, and I used to dance for amusement for them. And my uncle used to come in and play the piano, and they say, "Go and Dorluke," that's me, Doris. Dorluke means little doll. Dance, And I would dance, because Shirley Temple was the era at that time. So I learned all her songs and the dances, and I used to imitate, right? And my grandma used to say to me, she used to buy me nice little black pattern shoes with pearly buttons on, and I always walked on my toes. Always loved walking on my toes. So she used to say to me, "You do that more, I buy you boys' shoes." But I did, and she bought me boys' shoes, and I could stand on my toes better. So, all things seem to work out well for me. It doesn't matter what people said I couldn't do or wouldn't do, I would
do it.
Do it, yeah. It's sometimes better. So the inspirations that I got, I can't really explain that to you because...
Well, there's no distractions for you, because in our day now, we have access to everything, but it's kind of taking away from our own imaginations in some way, because we don't have the time to explore our imagination because we're bombarded by technology.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
and you've got a radio and you're dancing to Shirley Temple.
Well, absolutely. That
with a Lithuanian grandmother.
Yeah, and she used to be trying to get Vilnius on the radio, listening to her language from all the way over there. But the thing is also, I can't explain, as I said, the inspiration. It comes to me. I could be doing the dishes. I could be making a bed. I could be doing something. I will stop immediately because it comes into my... A few lines come of what I feel or what I'm doing or what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. And I've got a journal and it goes in there. And then I've got a few quiet times I go and add to it, to make...
How many poems have you written?
Lisa, how many did you count when you were with me? And that was...
I was there a month, so they were on rice paper.
You made me up for the big manuscript of...
Manuscript. It's the
manuscript of the very old stuff that I used to type on onion paper.
Onion paper, that's right. Yeah.
Right, and you preserved that for me, and then you put that on disc. You put it on something to... With it in the computer, right?
Yeah.
So that was that. But I have done oodles and oodles of things,
And why haven't you ever published them?
That's the point. I think many moons ago I did try, and I was told, "Well, have you had a book published?" And I said, "No." "Well, it's very difficult." And I thought, well, yeah, I suppose it's difficult because...
So it's getting into a restricted movie when you're 8 years old.
Right, yeah, well, no, my grandchildren know all these stories and they go, well, no, we've heard that one. But the thing also is poetry again, what do you write? Poetry. Never really was received with a feeling of like, oh, what, a novel? About what, Mm-hmm. And... poetry it's not an easy word to get published, truthfully. That's what I felt. And and I couldn't say, well, it's different, with load of children's stories, load of books, children's stories. And I didn't want to be sort of, oh, mine's better or mine's good, but it's about things that teach children.
Well, like things like Fairy Leaf, a lot of your characters and stuff. Do you think that books like Harry Potter and stuff have opened up that world to kids to be more accepting of poetry?
I think there is more magical things for children now coming with it. They put their evil in it to show you the things that happen in the world. I did it through animals, like the one that was Freddie Frog, and he was always interrupting. Everybody talking, he was there interrupting, like some people or children do. I'm to be one of them sometimes. But the thing is, all the animals got together and said they were fed up with it.
So there's lessons in every...
But funny at times because somebody recognises themselves.
Well, with your sense of humor...
Well, I do make it funny too. And the funny thing too, my kids used to recognise themselves too. I got fed up with saying, you know, like, for goodness sake...
Bad girl!
No, brush your hair, for goodness sake, or can't you drop your shoes out? So I put this character in, and I don't know, my kid said, that sounds like me. And I said, yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it? But look what happens to her, you know, what she does, you know. And you see the clockwork working. Wow.
They're connecting.
Yeah. Mum's not telling me. That's happening.
The poetry's mirroring the behavior.
Right, and the thing is, too, you know, when babies are little and they start doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, it's melodious and it's rhythmic.
Right.
And this is what I try to do so that they repeat the lines very easy because it follows in suit.
Oh, poetry's like math, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the way you learn, and it's up to 10, and so on. Yeah.
So kids are smarter when they read poetry?
I would imagine so. In fact, I have read things in my latter years that is a good thing for children to learn because it does give them memory.
Do you think that your poetry has helped you? Because a lot of people, you know, when they get older, they start to lose it a little bit. Use it or lose it, right?
No, it's not always older people that lose it either.
It's absolutely not. I feel like I'm losing it a little bit right now, just being pregnant.
As you mentioned earlier, with all this technology and the staring at the screens and buzzing of the thumbs and doing the textings and everything, you know, it's like that's taken over.
We're becoming dumber.
No, I think you're becoming technically much cleverer. I mean, you know, I have to be shown how, this is a different kind of microwave like you did to me. You said, you press this button, press that button. But do it so quickly, once I've done it, I've got it.
Right.
You know, and that, but...
So we have access to more information and things, but...
Babies today, you know, can't even talk or walk. They're still doing this and, you know, they start young. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I
am.
Because
I'm addicted.
Where is your imagination?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, playwrights and in theatres and music that compose.
But even when people go to those, they have their phones out. They're watching it through their phones.
And they can make a tune with synthetic, you know, drums going and everything with just pressing buttons.
So we need to bring your poetry back to life, get it off that onion paper, get it published. How are we going to do that? Do you have a website?
Well, I do have a website, don't I, actually?
Do you know what it is?
Teri Tales.
TeriTalesProductions.com.
Productions, yeah. Yeah.
And you can also find Nan on Facebook under Teri Tales. It's Teri. We'll just have a link right here. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add, Nan?
Well, the thing is, we're talking children. I still feel that adults still read to their children. Some stories are boring for children. I'm not saying because I didn't write it, but, you know, like the cat sat on the mat and stuff like that. Well, that's okay, but where's your imagination? It's just a cat sitting on a mat, right?
Why is the cat sitting on the mat?
Well, got nowhere else to go, I suppose. They've all got the chairs and he's got nowhere else to go. That's how I would look at it. But that's...
So do you think that people can bring back their imaginations to life by reading your poetry?
Yeah, I think so. I think they would enjoy it, and I think they would associate their own childhood with it. I hope I haven't talked too much, but there you go.
We'll ask our camera guys back.
Are we all right, buddy? Did I do good?
Do you need a back grab from Nan?
I'm always nervous when I come on, but when I start talking about memory...
Can't get her to shut up.
No, that's true, but you did ask me to.
I did. You did a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Nan.
Thank you, darling.
Isn't she cute?
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. That's it. I'll write a novel now.
Yeah. Thank you. So,
Okay.
Nan, Doug's going to go write his book. Let's get this book published.
Chapter 1, done.
Yeah? What does it say?
You can wait till it's done. You'll see.
Are you inspired today?
I inspired today? I'm always inspired. Especially when you sing. I love it when you like start the day off with a song, phone me up, sing happy birthday to me. That was lovely.
Twice so far, yeah.
Twice so far, yeah. It's
I
good.
did.
It's like you're an instrument of change with your singing. You're
Thank
it's like bringing joy and music into people's lives.
Into your iPhone. Speaking of inspiring people who are promoting change, Meet Your Song, there are a group of people in the Okanagan.
Yes, the Changemakers, and they are putting on a really cool event. It's kind of like a Dragon's Den, a gentler, more socially conscious Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's because the audience gets to vote.
yeah, and they're not being mean to anybody. It's all about making change and social responsibility. And well, our next guest can probably explain it better than I can.
Definitely.
Now, welcome to the studio, Dalen and Trina.
Hi.
Making some changes.
Yeah, trying to anyways.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. So we're part of Okanagan Changemakers, which is a volunteer board that's trying to, it's big, and we're going to use the word sustainable a lot, but it's to foster and incubate social enterprises in the Okanagan.
Okay.
I know.
Unpackage that.
Social enterprise.
Yeah, so a social enterprise is a company that employs commercial strategies to maximize human and environmental elements. So it's...
Some examples.
Yeah, well, One Cup at a Time is the John Howard Society, so it's their coffee shop that goes to support their nonprofit, so there's that.
And that's a cool example because the clients from the John Howard Society work in the coffee shop, get work experience, get valuable stuff on their resume, and the money goes back into the program that helps other people. So it's a great example.
So that is one of the examples. Another one is the Fruit Tree Project, which is in the Okanagan here, and what they try to do is they gather unused fruit from orchards around Kelowna to make sure that no fruit goes to waste.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
A lot does go to waste.
It is, yeah, for sure. So, it's a really diverse group. A person can be a straight-on social enterprise like One Cup at a Time, or it could be maybe a hybrid model where it's a for-profit company that has a strong social mission or gives a percentage of their profits back to a social cause.
Do you know of Soilmate?
Yeah.
They're on our show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think they applied last year.
Eastwood Organics, because they're connecting.
I saw that.
Yeah, they're connecting a bunch of community together.
Yeah.
With food and drinks.
Right. Yeah. So we started the organization in 2013, and it's evolved since then. We had a big event called Change Up, where we invited social enterprises to pitch. And it was audience voted, where they voted for the winners, and we were trying to bring a connectedness to this space. And we were actually shocked ourselves because we sold out the event, and the energy and the vibe that came out of that, and the connectedness, because a lot of people that came were like, wow, I didn't even know that was happening.
And you guys have a clip for that, right?
Yes, yeah. Change Up is a pitch pit competition where 12 finalists in 4 different categories will pitch for prize money and mentorship for their social enterprise.
This is an amazing opportunity for a lot of great like-minded people to come together to make a positive difference.
So I think it's a great community event where we can kind of profile a lot of the great things that we're doing here and help promote, a better place to live in Kelowna.
We're really excited to be here tonight and to be a part of all of these amazing enterprises, organizations, nonprofits who are doing what they can in their place with their skills to make the world a better place.
There's so many people out there that do try to really make this a better place, and to just feel that we came all together for something that really makes a difference in our community.
I think it's really great to get a group of like-minded people all in the same theater, listening and exchanging stories and everything. I think when you get them all together, that's when some really big change can happen.
It's exciting. People want to make change. They want to make a difference. So what Okanagan Changemakers is a conduit for those people.
I've pitched in a lot of contests, and a lot of it's just give me your financials, and then they'll evaluate whether it's a good financial business. And this one here is actually, they said to me, well, talk about your social change. Talk about how you're going to make a difference in the world. Try to inspire someone.
I certainly saw people from a number of different sectors, and I thought that was pretty cool just to see the worlds colliding towards a certain cause.
We want an opportunity for people to connect in this space, and I don't think that that existed before, which is I think why we've had such a successful event so far.
I think we're all doing very similar things, and so I think the more collaboration between us would exponentially increase the impact we make together.
And the people that are coming here are all keenly interested in social change. I think out of this event, people are actually going to go and be inspired, and they'll go and create new things that will go and change the world. I think actually real world change will happen tonight.
I did the keynote at the Care and Make It Fair Forum to encourage Okanagan students just like me to become do-gooders.
What I'd like to see come out of this from a collective level is the awareness that, first of all, people are doing things in the Okanagan that are creating incredible change in our communities and also around our country and around the world. And that it's so easy to participate in that global change to create a more richer, more fantastic world that we live in.
And you're involved in this year?
Yeah, Changemakers brought me on this year to help organize the event Change Up for 2015 because 2013 was so successful and everyone was really inspired coming out of it. They wanted to run it again. And so I've been brought on board to help bring the 2015 event to fruition.
Yeah. So this is kind of like described to me as like a dragon's den, but for social.
Yeah. We jokingly at the very beginning, were like, what do we call it? Because it's not mean. So we were like, dolphin's den? We didn't really know, but it's
what?
Dolphin den.
Like something cuddly.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like dolphins, right?
Everyone, when they conjure up Dragon's Den, they fear, like it's fear, right? Because you come out and you have to pitch, but this is
have you seen how they treat it? Is Dragon's Den.
It is, totally.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to get away from that because it's such a collaborative space and it's all about doing good in the community. So we were trying to
you're not ripping people, you're supporting people.
Totally, yeah. And that it's the audience vote, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so the audience will get an opportunity to vote for their favorite pitch during the evening, and they can do it on their mobile phones. And so it'll be a real-time audience-involved thing. There's no panel of judges like there is on Dragon's Den. The panel is the audience, and so it's if you manage to be one of the successful applicants, you get to go on stage and try to win the hearts of the audience at the Kelowna Community Theatre.
Do you come out of that with something like at the end of the
you do. There is prize money and there's mentorship as well.
Awesome.
So KPMG, for example, they are offering up $5,000 in accounting services, which was really helpful to some of the winners last year. Yeah, and then there is prize money for seed. Seed money for some of these organizations. But what we're really trying to do is create this space where people can connect and be catalysts for positive change in the community. So, I mean, it's a win-win all around.
Yeah. It's great exposure for these organizations as well.
And who can apply to these kinds of things?
Well, we ask that mostly social enterprises that have a sustainable revenue model towards their overall vision. And I know that sounds like a lot too, but it's if you have
like some examples,
well, so some of the winners last year, actually, there was a young guy, Tegan. He stole everyone's heart, and he was actually on the real Dragon's Den, and got money from a couple of the dragons. But he actually has created a playing card system to reduce bullying on the playground.
Oh.
Yeah, so his business is early concept. He was looking for seed money and mentorship towards how does he sell and how does he market these playing cards.
Okay.
Yeah, and Metro Up, they have the financial literacy for low income people to reduce poverty. So they were another one of the applicants. Mm-hmm. We have already some applicants this year, which is exciting, but we want as many people that can apply because it just it increases their exposure in the community. Right. Yeah.
And how did you get involved?
Changemakers approached me. I knew one of the board members. I was running an event this summer. It was a lawn bowling event, and one of the board members came up to me and asked me if it would be something that I'd be interested in doing. And the space is really interesting to me. It's I've been, one of the board members said to me last week, it's sort of right in the middle between capitalism and and a charity. And so that's something that kind of really resonated with me, because you can do really good things even though you're for profit and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I got involved with them, and it's been really good so far.
Yeah, we just believe overall that the new imperative for businesses is going to have some sort of social, not even purpose, but I think customers require a more virtuous exchange with these businesses, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to highlight the ones that are doing better and inspire ones that aren't quite there yet, don't maybe understand it, to want to do better.
When people are craving that connection with people
For
and
sure.
like the mom and pop kind of shops, because it's like that community feel. It's
For sure.
not the big corporations, like when calling up a phone company or something. Shaw.
You talk to me. What's wrong with that?
That's true. Actually, talk to people, but you'll call up a business and you'll get like 7 different computers, and people just want to be able to have this face-to-face contact, know where their stuff is coming from, know that what they're doing is going to a good cause too.
Yeah, and it came from an ethical source as well. So one of the things we're doing this year, which is new from last year, is we have a keynote speaker. And we're bringing up Mickey McLeod from Salt Spring Coffee. Their business motto is believe in doing better. And so he's going around and he's trying to obtain ethical sources of coffee. He's meeting directly with the farmers, trying to cut out like all that middle part to really go to the source of where the coffee is grown. And he's actually doing really successful. So we're excited to have him, because I think he's going to inspire a lot of people too here.
It's cool to see that kind of growth of businesses, and people I know are asking those kind of questions about like, where does this come from?
For sure.
And what happens to the money? Like, am I giving my money to people that are going to do a good thing?
For sure, yeah.
Who's making the products? Is it,
and where
a child in a different country, and that you want to make sure that everything's ethical and
for sure,
and supporting local, right? Keeping us sustainable.
And I mean, we're part of an overall. It's a new space in Canada, but we're part of an overall group. There's hubs in all of the major cities, and actually BC was the first province in Canada to have an economic minister for social innovation. We were the first province in Canada, so we're progressive. BC is usually progressive by nature, so and we have great places here. We have the Okanagan Social Centre for Innovation that's being built, and even Accelerate Okanagan that focuses on tech space. So it's cool. We're part of a growing community in an emerging market, really.
And if people want to find out more about Change Up or get involved in it, how do they do that?
Yeah, so if they want to pitch, if they're interested in pitching, our application deadline is November 1st. And they're welcome. Everyone is welcome to just go to the Okanagan Changemakers website, which is OkanaganChangemakers.com. They'll be able to find information about the event there. There's tickets that are on sale. We're still currently looking for more sponsors, so if anybody else in the community wants to get involved that way. But yeah, www.OkanaganChangemakers.com.
Maybe we should try pitching our show again.
Well, you pitched our show to the Dragon's Den.
I did.
Oh, did you really?
For $1 billion.
She only wanted $1 billion from them.
That's it. They never called me, but I think that I think they got their own phone number, maybe.
Oh,
probably.
that's so fun.
Well, they are coming back, I think, so we could.
funny.
That's probably them now.
I actually got to go because this is my chance.
So we say it was December 3rd, by the way. It's December 3rd at Kelowna Community Theatre.
Yes.
So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lisa, so much for coming down.
Thank you very much for having us.
So I don't know, maybe we could pitch this to the social change group, because like we've got teams of volunteers down here being trained.
Yeah, because I mean, it's nice to we can have all kinds of topics on the show, and people, promote people who are making social change. So, are you eating local, sustainable food, Doug? What was your lunch today?
My lunch today? You don't want to know.
Tell me.
We went to a local sustainable drive-through burger place. I'm sure the potatoes were from somewhere nearby that they made the fries out of.
I highly doubt it.
I highly doubt it too.
That's disappointing, Doug.
It's my birthday. I can eat a dang drive-through burger if I feel like it.
It's gonna have a little fit. Speaking of fits and terrifying people and things.
I'm not terrifying.
Well, right now you're at a slow simmer, but I mean, if I poke the bear,
That's not.
Doug has some scary characters coming up.
I've got, I not scary. I play scary people in
That's what I'm
movies and
saying.
TV
So
on
tell us
stage.
about the play that you're going to be.
Oh, we're doing a show called Dead Serious.
Yeah.
It's coming up at the Creekside Theater in Lake Country. It's a great little. It's kind of like it's like a classic horror movie slasher thing, but live on stage. It's very cool. Set at a fishing lodge.
I love the pictures that you guys have online.
Yeah, they turned out some good stuff. Everybody's messed up. It's all kind of creepy. It's very good. It's
Give me a little bit of plot so people have some context.
a little bit of the plot. Well, it's a remote fishing lodge that a single mom and her 2 teenage kids live at, and the kids have been brought up there, so they're a little bit odd. They like scaring people and stuff. They like pulling pranks.
Okay.
And things. Some new people come out to stay, and goes downhill from there.
And where does Douglas Brown fit into this equation?
Douglas Brown, he's obviously the fine, upstanding hero of the whole thing, who would never do anything scary or wrong.
And this is live in theater, so that's one thing. And then also coming up after the break, we're going to be talking with somebody who's doing something local in town.
Right, yeah. Well, every Halloween for the last 7 years, Okanagan Society of Independent Filmmakers does HORRORFEST. And it just gets better and better every year. More and more local filmmakers making these short little, like under 10-minute, and they're so cool. They range from like just absolute gore fest to like really spooky, chilling things. And it's just so cool to see the whole community come together and they work on each other's films, and it's very exciting.
And scary.
I don't have a film in it this year, so I'm kind of bummed out. I didn't make anything scary.
So he just made a play instead.
This was in a play instead.
Awesome. So coming up after the break, we have Marc Nadeau.
To talk HORRORFEST.
And spooky things.
You always look at me.
Well, it's your favorite thing, Doug.
It's one of my favorite things.
HORRORFEST.
HORRORFEST, yes. Halloween is getting close, and HORRORFEST is getting closer.
Exactly. So all the filmmakers are just coming out of the woodwork, submitting their films for the 7th annual HORRORFEST.
We're joined by Marc Nadeau from Okanagan Society of Independent Filmmaking, and for 7 years, you guys have been putting on a great film festival full of all kinds of creepy local films.
Well, exactly. That's the beauty of it. They're all local films, so they're all locations that you've probably seen before, or actors or crew that you may have run into in the past. And the nice thing is that we only screen local films, so it's a big push for local filmmakers to come out and show us what they can do.
How creepy they can be.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's why Doug loves it. Doug?
It's great. I've been MC of it for several years. I've entered some short films into it a couple times. I'm like the perennial bridesmaid. I've won second place twice.
I haven't seen, I'm going to admit here, I can't handle scary things. Like at last Halloween, my husband and I already had our Christmas lights up, and he dressed up as Elf. So
That's as scary as it gets.
That's what is scary. Yeah. So.
Whereas me and my little brother started when we were, when I was maybe 12, scaring, like, just loving the scary part of it, right?
Decorating your house, hiding around the corners. I mean, they're getting free candy, right? So that's the whole point, is to be able to scare them a little bit. But the cool thing about the local filmmakers is everyone's touch on horror is a little bit different, right? So you got some creepy movies, you have some suspense movies, you might have more gore, you might have just it just really depends on who's submitting the film, and that's kind of the nice thing, is that the barrier to entry is really low. You know, it's just $20 to submit your film, and as long as it's not too terrible, we will accept it and we will screen it. Now, this year is really strong, so some of the films are like the best I've ever seen them locally. So we're really excited for this year, and hosting at the Habitat on October 30th at 7 o'clock. So the day before Halloween, so you still have a chance to do your Halloween plans, but this time go to the Habitat. 7 o'clock.
Get pre-spooked.
Exactly, yeah, get pre-spooked at the... and the nice thing too is that films are a maximum of 12 minutes long. So if they're not that great, you can go and grab some food or go and grab a beer and come back and watch the next one. So.
Yeah, that's a great thing about short film festivals, is that there's, things keep moving, it's always changing and different stuff. It was funny, I remember a few years, you'll see the same actor pop up in 2 or 3 different movies, because everybody's kind of friends and everybody works together on each other's movies. And it's funny to see the same guy be like the good guy the bad guy and the zombie, you know?
Yeah,
Three different
exactly.
movies.
Is that you?
No, I'm always the bad guy.
What I want to ask you though is, like when I was younger, I'd always try to scare people, but I ended up always scaring myself. So when you're like, you know, late at night editing these horrifying things.
Right, exactly.
Do you scare yourself?
Sometimes. I mean, there is the odd time where you're working on something new and you're working way past regular operating hours. Everyone's gone home. You're the only one there. And
Hear
all
a creak.
hear a creak or something falls down and you think to yourself, okay, I'm not going outside because typically the person who checks the sound out is always the first one who gets the axe, right?
Right.
So,
But you're not like
so
a
just
blonde
hide.
woman.
Just hide. No, even the brave guys always tend to.
The odds are not in my favor. I'm pregnant. I'm blonde.
Actually, you might be the survivor. There's always the. Notice that in the
I
horror
know
movies,
because
there's
I
always
don't
the
watch them
survivor.
anymore. I can't.
It might be to your advantage, actually. So that's funny.
What's something that you're actually scared of? Because I'm sure you've been exposed to tons of scary things over the years.
I remember I desensitized myself a lot when I was younger, so I'd always watch horror movies in the basement late at night, volume loud, lights off, and just really try to scare the pants off yourself. But I don't know, I think now it's more of things popping out, and that seems to be more of a theme now, as things sort of pop out, and then they add the sound effect or the scream or whatever, and so it's that jumpiness that still gets me. Like I'm not, if it's gory or if it's really terrifying, it doesn't bother me as much as just the pop out, and it startles you for a minute, but then it's back to the story.
What about dolls?
Right? So, dolls are creepy.
Clowns?
Clowns. See, it's some of that stuff where I always I had a history as a kid of doing a lot of martial arts, so I always thought, why don't you just if it's going after you, why don't you just go after it, So it was always kind of funny, but it's always that supernatural element like the ghosts or nightmares or things where you have no control over, which I think are a little bit scarier because something you can't face, how are you going to stop, right? So that's a bit creepier. So anyways.
You getting scared?
I'm shaking in my booties.
Because he's talking about scary stuff. I was just checking in on you, making sure you're okay.
Let me just say something. I used to be the creepiest person ever in terms of like watching scary things. Like I know everything about every serial killer. Like I was deep into that. But then I could never sleep again. So I stopped. I had to stop myself.
So you're not going to go to HORRORFEST, probably, but everybody else should.
Everybody else should, and wear your costumes this year because we have a costume contest as well.
It's always great. There's some amazing costumes.
It's great, and Kelowna Costumes is our sponsor this year.
Great! I love them.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're so cool. So go and check them out if you haven't already. But the other thing too is this year it's a double feature. So we're going to have a regular HORRORFEST. There's going to be an MC. We're going to put not Doug this year, unfortunately.
I'm on stage in a serial killer play.
Another creepy thing.
There you go.
I'm killing somebody else that night.
Can you tell them what is that?
It's called Dead Serious.
Dead Serious.
It's going on at the Creekside Theater in Lake Country.
Yeah, so you can do all these things. You can go.
Exactly. Yeah, HORRORFEST on the day before Halloween, and then after the next day, do your regular Halloween stuff, trick-or-treating.
Come trick-or-treat at my Christmas house.
Yeah. Now, and also our double feature, the nice thing is that the one ticket's going to get you into 2 events, so you're going to be able to go to HORRORFEST, and right after, we're going to have a live band playing. And apparently they only play Halloween or horror music related in their own sort of way, so it's going to be interesting now. So it'll be $20 at the door, or $15 in advance at Leo's Video, Kelowna Costume, or the Film Factory. You can pick up tickets there. Great. But it's going to be great this year. A lot of really stellar films. I was involved in one of the films.
Yeah,
I'm not in the film, but indirectly helping in post-production, which is always fun. So there's some interesting stuff coming our way. I've heard rumors of 3 movies shooting back to back. That's not confirmed. And also, now that I'm doing a lot more post-production, there is a bit more work coming this way, and if things pan out, then we're looking at boosting the local economy and getting some more films here and getting some more unfortunately temporary jobs, but that's just the nature of film.
But it's getting the momentum going.
Exactly, right, and getting exposure.
And you mentioned too about how beneficial it is for people who are producing movies in the Okanagan. Tell me a little bit about that.
There's in terms of labor expenditures, we're getting a lot more tax credits. So producers that come out this way get a lot more bang for their buck. especially in the post-production, they're getting 73 cents back on the dollar for labor, which is insane, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got a budget of, if you've got a budget of $500,000 for your movie, normally you allocate about 10 to 20% of that towards post-production. And if you're getting back 73%, well, then that means next year you have all that extra funding to fund your next film, which is amazing, right?
So
it's
come to the
exactly, come to the Okanagan, film here, do all your production here, hire local labor because you're getting more tax credits as well.
And that's a great thing about something like OSIF and these film festivals that you guys put on as part of the reason for it is to get the local crews, the local people getting experience, getting the time on the camera and editing.
Well, because it's too bad because lots of times, people in the smaller centers like Kelowna will get trained here and then they'll have to get jobs in the bigger centers like Vancouver, Toronto and stuff. So by having these, high profile, we said Anthony Hopkins and Julia Stiles, people here, you worked on that movie.
That was a fun gig,
What was it, Walk With Me?
Go With Me.
Go With Me, Go With Me.
Yeah,
and so having that momentum building, I think is great for, who wouldn't want to be in the Okanagan too?
Exactly, it's so picturesque here. Really, the only thing you couldn't shoot here would be like urban center, and that's it. So that most of that stuff happens in Vancouver, but that's true.
Right?
That's what I do, set extensions. So
exactly.
Yeah, so it's a great spot to film. Not just the locale is great, the food is great, the seasons aren't too harsh. We don't have a lot of rain like some places do.
Food's getting awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And winters are short.
Tell us what the food with her.
Well, hey.
I'm really hungry.
A lot of foodies.
So how can people find more about you, Marc?
Oh, well, I've got a website set up. It's visionfx.ca. And luckily, partnering up with some really big people from Vancouver. And so there'll be some big stuff happening here. But also make sure to check out osif.org. If you want to be a cast member or you want to help out with crew, you can register on the website. And we just had an event, it was called Script to Screen, and we were sponsoring a local film right in time for HORRORFEST. And this year we couldn't even decide one winner because all the submissions were so good. So we had to pick two winners. So two of our sponsored films are going to be in HORRORFEST this year. So it's kind of like feeding itself, right?
Yeah.
So the more people that we have that submit their film ideas, maybe the more we can sponsor and then the more that'll come out. And the next Script to Screen should be this winter, right in time for Indie Film Festival, which will be in the spring. So we're going to have another event coming up right on the heels of this one.
You can go to that one because it'll be just regular.
Yeah, it'll be non-horror.
Okay, and for people that want to get tickets to the HORRORFEST.
Yeah, HORRORFEST, again, they can go to Leo's Video, Kelowna Costume, or they can go to the Film Factory. The day of, it'll be $20 at the door, or even online through PayPal.
So, awesome.
Great. Yeah. Thanks so much, Marc.
Thank you so much. Nice being on.
Doug, I don't think we've ever talked about this. What scares you?
What scares me? Not knowing my lines, forgetting my lines. I say I have show mares about that before a play opens. I'll have like these nightmares of being on stage and not knowing what to say next. So I study hard so that doesn't happen. Happened to me the very first show I was ever in on stage. It was going so great, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic. And I looked in the audience, and the lady in the front row was reading her program. And I went, I'm being oh, I forgot where I was in my show.
And then
and I'm standing there all alone on stage, completely blank. Nobody there to save me.
Oh, I would have saved you. That reminds me, though, remember when we first met back in the day? Way back in the day?
Way back.
Last Halloween?
Last Halloween.
We were at Kelowna Costumes.
I recruited you to co-host Go on ShawTV, and you got beautified.
They put zombie makeup on me.
Yeah.
But I was talking, because I remember when I was younger, I got into theater a little bit when I was younger, but what turned me off of theater and what scared me from ever going back again was I was supposed to be really, really scared in a scene, and we'd spent I want to say months on the back, this big, beautiful backdrop for our play that was coming out in a couple weeks. And I was doing overacting, like Nicolas Cage overacting, and I backed into the entire set and it crumbled to pieces.
Destroyed the set.
It was so embarrassing, and I never wanted to do theater again.
Well, and you see now.
So now I have the show mirrors in that way.
Right. That's why we have this basic, simple set here, and she gets to sit down. There's no chance of her knocking over anything.
Don't test me.
And speaking of things that scare us, we sent our dedicated team out to the streets to find out what scares you. And here's what they had to say.
What scares you the most?
This close to my face.
Ooh, rats.
Death. I go with spiders. Close up. Closed spaces.
What scares you?
Oh man, sharks. Yeah, such a classic, but sharks.
Spiders, actually. The other day I was at work and I had a black widow crawl out of my hoodie, and I was like, wow, black widows actually exist, and apparently they're breeding around these parts right now, so beware of those black widows.
Some things that people are
I'm scared of all those things.
You're scared of all those things?
Well, spiders, clowns, dolls, public speaking in some way, I know, and plays.
And plays. But that doesn't stop people from dressing up for Halloween, though.
No.
And that can be therapeutic and cathartic to get the scares out of you, to dress up. So we also asked people out around Kelowna what they're going to be for Halloween.
Halloween's coming up. Do you have any idea what you want to be?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be the bearded lady. Catwoman.
Oh, Dracula.
And what do you want to be?
He's already, you can see it. He has already his costume.
One of those, yep, guys from Sesame Street. Anyone? Yeah? Yeah, you got like the aliens? Yep.
I'm being a vampire. I'm being a nurse.
And why?
I just like the costume. It looks better than the other ones.
We were just there for 3 hours, so.
My name's Edward, so I was thinking Edward Scissorhands. I'm growing my hair out for it.
I'm gonna be a mermaid. I already got my costume planned. I bought some seashells. Yeah, gonna be a mermaid.
Doug, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Well, I've got a couple of choices. I'm playing haunted mini golf at the Loco Landing in Penticton, and for that I'm going to be like Van Helsing, the movie. He was like the vampire monster hunter. So I got an outfit like that. But then my grandson Eddie is coming down from Grand Prairie, and he wants to be Iron Man. So we all have to be like the Avengers. So I have to find an Avengers character that I can be. I'm not sure. I might be Nick Fury, just an eye patch.
I don't know what I can do. The thing is, I like to do funny costumes for mine. So like last year, I was Dr. Evil, my son was Mini-Me, and my husband was Elf.
Right.
But I'm thinking now that I have a baby bump,
bump.
I'd be the Christmas baby bump. What?
Nothing. No, go ahead.
What are you saying?
It's just a cute little baby bump.
Oh, no, you didn't, Doug. I've got a very big belly. Well, you can probably see it. But I thought I could be something like Santa Claus, because Marcus did the Christmas theme last year. Yeah. And then I thought that I'd dress up Marcus and my son as the Chippendales dancers, Patrick Swayze and Chris Farley.
Right. Yeah, well, there you go. Perfect. Santa Claus and the male strippers. That's classic Halloween, right?
Classic and classy.
Classy. It doesn't get any classier than that.
And if you want to be a part of this classy show, speaking of which, email us at dougandlisashow@gmail.com. We got some cool things coming up. We're going to have some makeover shows happening once a month. Your favorite.
I love being made over.
So if you know of somebody, or if you're or kind of yourself,
we still have to do that, eh?
What? We will.
Yeah.
Maybe the first makeover will be Doug and I, because Doug, we promised months ago that Doug would dress like me and I would dress like him. But I wanted to wait till I was really, really, really pregnant, so he could get the full experience of what it's like to be a woman.
Oh, we're gonna get
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yes. All right.
I'm thinking you're gonna be in labor, Lisa. You know how they did that where they put the
No.
So if you know where I can get the equipment to simulate
Okay,
labor.
thank you very much for watching. That's all the time we have for today's show.
But honestly, we are going to dress like each other. But if you are somebody or know of somebody that is in need of a makeover, just wants to a refresher.
Yeah, this is not a mean. This isn't a mean.
No,
What do
it's
they
a
wear?
positive.
What not to wear thing.
Yeah, we're not going to sit in a glass cube and judge you the way you look before or anything. We just want to give somebody a nice makeover package with clothes, hair, makeup, done all by local amazing people in the Okanagan, including Toby Tennis of Influence, who clothes me every week.
Look how nice you look.
Yeah. So if that's you, DougAndLisaShow@gmail.com, email us. And make sure that you like us on Facebook, facebook.com/DougAndLisaShow. And you'll see all of our updates there.
Very cool.
Very cool. Well, Doug, let's get those Timbits out. Happy birthday. Let's just take those down.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, shucks.
You live in a zoo.
Uh-huh.
You smell like a monkey. And you look like one too. Or is it act like one?